Good afternoon, this is Greg with Vehicle Response Training, coming here today to talk about fire isolator, fire blanket. I was a general manager of a collision center, and we were an OEM manufactured collision center. So we dealt with the manufacturer level repairs. Part of our emergency action plan at our center included this fire isolator, fire blanket. We had this because pretty much at all times we had 30% of the vehicles on site were high voltage. That was part of our certification. We do believe that this is growing within the realm of collision, and it is a very, very important tool for us to have on hand at the body shop in order for us to be able to work with our first responders to safely mitigate issues in the body shop realm. Here talking about fire blankets again with Mike. He was one of our technicians, one of our certified high voltage vehicle technicians at the shop. Talking about blankets. If we have these at our facility, we as general managers and owners of these facilities, we need to be in contact with our local fire department and make sure that they're aware that that they know that we have these products on hand. Mike, why is that so important?
Well, the main reason, Greg, is that we as shop employees, we would never be deploying this blanket. We would hand this off to our fire department. As part of our emergency action plan, we would keep this blanket next to the egress door that we would go out through, carrying the blanket with us, and then hand it off to the fire department, and then they would in turn deploy that blanket as necessary.
Right, because we don't have the proper PPE, we don't have the proper equipment in order to do that safely. We never want to have our employees do these types of actions. Evacuate the building, bring the proper tools out with us, hand it off to the proper people to handle that situation.
We just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about fire blankets and kind of the differences and considerations of the two different types of fire blankets available on the market.
As you can see right here, we have two different styles. We have a coated style blanket and a woven style blanket.
And that's referring to the textile type material that is woven into these different types of blankets.
Both of these blankets have different uses, dare I say. They have different capabilities, is more accurate. We get into the coated style, and I always like to say, think about more of our kitchen fire. This style is more meant to snuff a fire out versus the woven style like this one.
Yeah, so this is more of a fire suppression tool. This is more of a mitigation tool to manage the situation, to buy a little time to figure out what we're going to do next with a product that we're not necessarily going to be able to extinguish with our products like water. So as a collision center representative running a collision center, you have some background there. What blanket would you choose if you had the choice between these two types of blankets, the coated style or the woven style?
If I was to make that choice, I would get the woven style solely because I'm very tight with all the firefighters and the fire marshal within our jurisdiction. And I would want to have a product on hand that has a less likelihood of an explosive event. Not that we would ever be dealing with that directly at the shop level, but we would be bringing this tool out to our firefighters in order for them to be able to solve the problem inside our shop.
So Greg, does insurance companies recommend these products?
There are a great many insurance companies now, believe it or not, that are actually starting to mandate these products within the realm of high voltage vehicles and other high voltage components out there. But yeah, these things are coming, whether we like it or not. These are going to be products that are going to be required by manufacturers at some point, required by our insurance providers. It goes way beyond just the collision realm at this point, but this is what's coming.
So do you know if they recommend a coated style blanket over a woven style blanket, or do they not know?
There's certain certifications, broad level certifications that are out there now by some of these manufacturers. And from my understanding, some of these blankets do fall under both, right? But we need to look, okay, now that's a general temperature or not allowing that product to actually burn and fail at a certain temperature point. But we need to look beyond that now and actually look at what are the potential hazards and risks associated with using these products. That's what we really need to dive down to.
You say this coated blanket holds the gases underneath. What do we do with the gases that are able to permeate through the blanket?
That's where we actually train the fire department, because they do have to deal with those gases, but we need to more so just, they can use a fog pattern and almost just disperse and ventilate those gases simply by using a little bit of water. It doesn't even require a lot.
Okay, so what you're saying is at the collision center, we would not engage as an employee of the collision center to deploy these blankets onto a car that would potentially have an issue with the battery?
Absolutely not. We will dive into emergency action plans and how we need to incorporate these within that at the body shop world, at that body shop collision center level. But no, we would never have an employee deploy one of these blankets. We don't have the proper PPE in order to do so.
When you have an issue, potentially an issue with a battery or an electric vehicle, what would your stance be? Would you want this, where would you want this located within the collision center?
I would want this right by an egress door, and we could literally pick this thing up as we're moving out the door, going to our mailbox, or wherever our emergency meeting place is, so we can get our head count, and this would be available for us to hand off to the fire department as they're arriving on scene. We do not deploy this.
Now, as part of our emergency action plan, we had kept a fire blanket here in the facility in a cabinet to keep it dust-free near an egress door so we could easily access it to hand it off to the fire department when they arrive. We pick it up and out the door. And out the door we go.